Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Tacx Zwift Crit Series. We are jumping right on into the men's race. We're going to be doing coverage of the men's and the women's race today. The men are jumping out onto the Watopia Volcano course right now. The women are just leaving the piers. It does look like we've got about 85 men signed up today, and looking around 11 women out on course today as well. We definitely want to look at the series standings so far, though, before we get into the racing right now. So we do have here the current series standings. Yurts Templar sitting with a solid 56 points up toward the front end of the series. Then Kim Little sitting in third. Storm Bay sitting, Kim Little sitting second. Storm Bay sitting in third. Sebastian Sternfalk in fourth. Bertus Turksma, and then Gavin's Dempster heading on through to Tubus Mueller. Tom Hargreaves actually in there coming from Zwift HQ. Arvis, then Vistreams, and it will be Arnim Benz there as well. So that is the top 10 there for the men, and you can see the rounding out of the top 20. The top 10 men will be heading to the final actually in January. This competition is designed for. Then amongst the women who did just jump out on course, we do have Rachel Elliott leading it out, followed by Carrie Konebear, Fred 76, Jerlene Vanderbij, and then we do have In Johnson there, as well as Joanna Abbott, Anya Ludendorff, Nikki Kicken, and Zeke Ryder. Then an unknown rider actually sitting there in 10th place, though. So we'll have to figure out who the unknown is as we jump further into this series, as she's going to be looking to punch a ticket to the final in January, actually. So we'll see if we can get eyes on who exactly the unknown rider is. The men have headed into the volcano, and things are heating up for sure over there. We are 46 kilometers per hour as they head through the first little section of the volcano. And right off the bat here, we do have F. Schumann here coming out of Germany, leading things out 151 beats per minute right now. Jokopos is there, as well as Bakilev coming out of Russia. So a few names up toward the front right off the bat that are not maybe in and amongst the top 10 currently. They're going to be battling it out here for those points. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what the Zwift Tacx Crit Series is, I'm just going to go through a quick little reading here of exactly what the rules, regulations are for this series. We are doing 7 laps out here today. So on this crit course, though, it comes at you continually out on the volcano. So things are going to be fast and furious right from the get-go. So we will definitely hurry up through this explanation. The Zwift Crit Series here, presented by Tacx, is a 5-race series taking place every Monday from October 30th to November 29th. Now, that's actually been updated, I believe, and they're extending it 1 week. We'll have to wait for the update on the description there over at Zwift's website there for the exact details. The A category is for men only, and the B category is for women only. Now, those significations are just for what race that you are going to be joining out on Zwift. You should be expecting jumping into the races, though, 4.0 plus watts per kilogram for these races here. The points that will be awarded will be 20th all the way from 20 points for first, all the way down to 1 point for 20th place, and they will be counted and tracked over at zwiftpower.com. That is where we are currently watching all of the live results, as well as where we will be getting our results post-race as well. If you would like to interact with the broadcast, cheer on your favorite racers, let us know who you think is going to win today. You can do so simply by tweeting at Z Community Live or interacting with us directly over at the broadcast. Lee Gosden, we were sick last week. I did see Nate. I hope you didn't have a cold. Yeah, we definitely had a little bit of something going on, and this is me sounding better right now, Lee, just so you know. This is me sounding actually really great, so compared to last week. So but you can cheer on your favorite racers by commenting at the Facebook post over on Zwift's Facebook, or you can tweet at Z Community Live, at Z Community Live. So make sure to do so to let us know who you think is going to win or where you think things are heading, or if you have any questions, comments, any kind of interaction you want to bring into the broadcast here, we are happy to interact with it for sure. So looking through here, we do see for the women, then they are starting to head for their first time into the volcano actually here, and we do have Jay Abbott here from Team Fearless. Let's go ahead and bring up the women's broadcast here, as we do have a solid lead group right now. Carrie Conabear, she had a little bit of technical difficulties in her first couple of races here, so it's good to see her up there making that lead group. We also do have, it looks like, Fred76, also one of the top 5 riders for the women there, up toward the front there, coming out of France. We do have Seek out here as well, coming from Vision Cycling here out of France, and then it was Jay Abbott. Now, interesting to see, Rachel Elliott has not made the start line to this week, actually. And we do see H. Wood here leading out the main chase group here with Ludendorff and Kicken. Now, all of these women are a part of that top 10, I believe. Maybe a couple of them just outside of it, actually, that might be able to grab a few points here and sneak into that top 10 here with the absence of a few women here on the line. Rachel, though, having a fairly dominant lead, I believe, in the series currently. 60 points. Carrie Conabear, though, only 9 points behind with 51 points there. Fred 76.45. So she can, I think Rachel, with her talent, can afford perhaps 1 week off or so, but it may be difficult to hold on if she takes more than that. So we'll have to see if she does jump back into the racing next week. But definitely one of the favorites for sure for the race out there amongst the women is Rachel Elliott, and has not made the start line today. They're heading into the volcano for the first time. Looks like this lead group is going to stick together as they make this initial climb here, and now it is going to be 14 seconds only back to Ludendorff, though, out of Germany. So solid effort here from these riders of part of the chase group. It might all actually come back together. And on this course, because of the consistent climbing that does take place, they may be very short climbs, but they are very intense, coming at you all the time type of a course here. And it's going to be interesting to see if Vanderbilt here, right along with the other Fearless teammate here, H. Wood, is going to chase anything down. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be in her team's best interest, but perhaps with Abbott on the front there feeling strong, getting H. Wood here in the mix as well may be in their favor actually here. Let's jump back in with the men, though, as they are heading around they are just exiting the volcano, actually down the 2-tier on the other side here, and we are seeing it is a solid lead group of, at least if we go ahead and move down through here, Kim Little here on the back end of this pack, currently sitting second overall in the series here, as you can see from Team Experimental, 131 beats per minute. Definitely resting up. A couple have already fallen off the back. We do see Norvang here out of Denmark there, as well as the WBR rider coming out of Great Britain off the back as well. So Weidman is there. We are seeing Spacker as well. Gendros, we want to definitely keep an eye on what is going on with the series standings amongst the men as we do watch the front end of this race. With Templar is the question for me right now. Has he made the race day? I'm looking for the flag from the Netherlands here to see if he has. It's interesting to see here a couple of riders leading out this series that we've seen in real life events with Zwift. Jonas Templar taking a solid 3rd place, I believe, the last time we saw him at one of the in real life World Cup events. Kim Little there as well, also one who's taken 2nd place at those events in real life. And so definitely, and also long time racers have been winning Zwift races for such a long time, have really proved themselves amongst the community here with both in real life races at the arena events, as well as in real life mountain bike races. That would be for Kim Little. I believe that Jonas Templar also has some solid Palmares under his belt for some stage racing on the road bike out by him there. And so with Kim Little and Templar, they're leading things out. They have a solid, it looks like 12 points to Soren Bay. Kim Little there with a solid 6 points over Soren. So gonna have to definitely hit up the podium, though, in order to hold on to that. It's actually a fairly contested top 5, at least. Only 16 points separating the top 5 with somebody, if anybody amongst these riders ends up a little ways back outside of that top 10, there's going to be some swapping up. And with only the top 10 making it to the final here, we could have a couple extra series leaders. Now, those outside of the top 5, though, Tobias Muir, Gavin Dempster, we're seeing Tom Hargreaves, Arvis Vikströms, and then it will be Armin Benz there as well. They all would have to take a W today in order to jump up close to that leading points there. So it is Sorenbait, Sebastian Sturvox, Bertus Turksma, Jonas Templar, and Kim Little with a solid lead here in that top 5. They could afford something maybe outside of that top 5, even top 10, and still hold on to those results. Howdy from Vancouver, Benoit. Good to see you there hanging out in the broadcast over at Zwift's Facebook. We're definitely watching the chat over there. We are seeing Dixie Newsom saying, "Going." A little bit cheering on for the women's race there as well. Andrew Benke jumping in there from the WBR team. Good to see you there, Andrew, as you are cheering on you. I was assuming it's going to be cheering on some of the WBR boys that might be out there right now. But good to see all you guys stopping in. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or if you want to actually show us your Zwift setup, or you want to show us the pain cave, you have any kind of in real life media that you would like to share, photos always can come through over at Twitter as well. So we always like to see those Zwift setups in the broadcast, as long as shirts on, boys and girls, shirts on, boys and girls, maybe. All right, so Pete Fawn here, though, we are seeing coming from Switzerland. It'd be interesting for me to see where he's sitting in the standings. He's actually not sitting in the top 20 at all from what I can see here. Now, Fawn is actually an elite cyclist out of Switzerland. He was riding for a Colnago team. Oh, Steiner Colnago. Actually, there he is. I am seeing him. Excuse me. He was right at the top there of the right-hand side of the leaderboard. 21 points, currently tied for 11th place. Excuse me, Peter, there. So he's actually right on the cusp here of being within that top 10. So it's going to be very important that he takes a solid podium result here in order to jump up and maybe bunny hop over a few of those other riders that are currently sitting in front of him right now in this series. So Armin Vikström's there as well. Hargreaves all within shooting distance of him if he's able to grab a couple of those points from the podium. Again, it is 20 points and then all the way down to 1 for the top 20. So you can get a solid leapfrog with a solid result. But on a crit course, it's always super highly contested. And that's part of the cool things, actually, for this series, is that because it is on a crit course like this, you are always able to usually hang in amongst the group, and it usually comes down to the sprint. But because of that, there's a lot of points up for grabs every single time. If you can time that sprint tactically correctly, you can save the energy correctly, if you can tactically reserve that energy as best as you can. I'd recommend inhaling Steam Dude. Lee Gostin said, thanks a lot there, Lee. I appreciate the comment there coming through over at the Facebook. Stefan Mady saying, go hard or go home. And Ken Stevens saying, my pain cave has cobwebs in it. Been off 10 days tomorrow due to having the man flu. I can relate to that for sure there, Kev Steven. Good to see you in the broadcast as always. Longtime viewer, always a huge supporter of the broadcasts, and really appreciate you stopping in and hanging out on the day here. Looks like we're getting a little bit of lag coming through for some reason on our ISP there. Apologies about that, guys. I think we have fixed it up there, and we should be good to go. And Daniel King Clur is saying, I would like to see the cheapest Zwift setup. Daniel King Clur. Actually, that is a great question, actually. And perhaps we could do some community chat on Tech Talk, actually, coming up on Friday. Friday, it looks like we are going to be having a community chat, Tech Talk time. And we definitely could throw down some chat about about setups and what is maybe the best setup for all the individuals out there as well. Watch out for Joe Skipper pro Ironman and super strong TT rider. David Crisp is letting us know over at the Facebook. So we will definitely keep an eyes out for Skipper. I'm looking through here. Jay Skipper has that verified badge in there, professional Ironman. So Jay Skipper coming out of Great Britain, 157 beats per minute right now. We'll definitely be keeping eyes on Skipper here. We've got about 20K to go. They are 5 laps. It says 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go out on course today. So it is going to be a little bit of attack off the front here, coming from Gray right along with Florin. Then it looks like Webb also chasing that down. There is one off the front. It does look to be Commissar here coming out of Norway here. So Commissar taking a little flyer off the front. Let's go ahead and see if he is sitting within the top 20 or so. No, I'm not seeing Commissar actually in the top 20. So looking to grab a couple of points off the front here, maybe with a getaway, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so just yet. So Commissar here now fallen no longer on the front there, as you can see. Dempster there from the BRT all alone suddenly out on course. We'll see if we can go ahead and grab the women's race while the men figure out where they're at out on the course here today. A little bit of cheering on there for the it looks like for Skipper coming from David Loins as well. And Alex Varik is saying, my Zwift setup is really cheap, but my power meter isn't. Alex, that's actually what I was on for the longest time, actually. Was on just a traditional trainer or dumb trainer for a really long time with a strain gauge power meter, actually. And that setup worked very, very well for me for a very long time, actually. So solid, very solid setup with any kind of a power meter. And I actually enjoyed that for pure training purposes. It was one of my favorite setups to have, actually. All right, amongst the women here now, we are seeing Abbott, Nick, and Kicken, as well as Kona Bear. It looks like still all on the front here. It does look like Fred 76 still sitting in as well. Now, was there actually a bridge, or was there always 5 movement here? I believe there were always 5. There might have been a bridge, but I believe we do still have the same 5 women here still working together. About 7, it says, miles there in about 13K though into their race, sitting on Lindsay's account here. So to jump into the women's my wife's account here to jump into the women's race, and currently sitting on the miles there. We'll have K's on the men's and miles on the women's there, but we do see here out of France there, Fred 76 currently sitting in for the women. It looks like, let's see if we can grab the current standings here. It's 3rd place currently for Fred 76. So Seacut, though, there, it looks like might be trying to jump actually into the leaderboard here, actually. There are definitely some points up for grabs for her, and I am not actually seeing her on the leaderboard at all at this moment, actually. So the other French woman here may be looking to grab a couple of points and jump into this leaderboard. Now, the question is, maybe is it the unknown, though? Rider that is out on course right now. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the live results and see, or it's not the live results, but SwiftPower.com might have some of the league results actually for us here, and we might be able to see if perhaps this current series for the women is actually including the French rider here for the women, but I am not seeing her currently in and amongst the leaderboard. Unknown. We keep on seeing unknown, actually, even over at Zwiftpower.com, which is really interesting, actually, to see that amongst even the Zwiftpower.com, we are not seeing that unknown rider, actually. So it's interesting to see. We have this wild card coming out of the woodwork here for the women. But Fred 76 here, we are seeing Kara Kona Bear then, Kicking then, as well as Abbott then. We do have Seacott there as well, all in and amongst these leaders here. A little bit of kick there from Carrie, BRT team, hanging out in that power tap kit, actually. And solid effort there to try and get a little bit of breathing room. The Vision rider here who's looking for 20 points to jump right on into a top 12 or 13 spot there. It would be cool to see if she is able to grab that. We'll see if she can move forward and jump back onto the wheel of Fred 76, Kona Bear, and Abbott there. It's going to be a tough ask, though, as she is just about a few meters off the back here. It is a race of meters always for those wheels there. And there is drafting in-game out on Zwift here, so there's definitely a huge advantage if you do play things smart here. No heart rate monitor here is currently coming from the Vision Rider, though. Hopefully she can grab one and throw it on, or perhaps maybe some sort of a malfunction there for her heart rate out there on course. We'll see if she does is able to get that back on. As I believe per the race rules, you do need to have a heart rate monitor usually right around KISS rules or so usually for these races, actually. So we're going to have to see for the rules. Placing an eligibility, Strava data must be open, not private or hidden. Z-Power riders with an average watts per kilogram over the duration of the race of greater than 3.99 watts per kilogram will not be eligible for a win. Riders producing over 5 watts per kilogram average will be DQ'd, and reinstated can occur if real-life matching performances can be provided with strain gauge power meters that will be checked on. And then HR monitors are required for all racers. So it looks like the Vision Rider maybe needs to grab that heart rate monitor to yell at somebody across the room to throw that on. It does look like the rest of the women up here toward the front of the race. Now, the question is, did she have some data coming through at the beginning of the race, and perhaps there was a malfunction? Sometimes that does happen. I do have issues once in a while with my heart rate monitor where I'll lose connection for some reason out on the out on Zwift between, or maybe not even between, it's a lot of times with the heart rate monitors, it's not even a Zwift issue. Sometimes heart rate monitors just start malfunctioning, and they're not getting the correct electrical signals coming through, and all of a sudden they will drop out. So it does look like the men have figured out where they are out on course and are no longer going into another dimension, so we will be able to grab them here up toward the front end of the race here. Gray here now, 3.4 watts per kilogram here. Solid effort here coming from the Team Experimental boys, and they will be showing up, I believe, for Mr. Kim Little. The first week of the Crit Series presented by Tacx, as well as the NA Series, the North American Series presented by Cyclops, was absolutely crazy for Team Experimental. They won almost every race on the day. The only race that was not won by Team Experimental was the last one. I believe there was a DQ, though, on the day that maybe Experimental might have won every race on the day. I believe there might have been a relegation or a DQ on the day. So solid effort there by Team Experimental for the first week of racing in the Crit Series here. So now they're showing up again in force for their man Kim Little. There it is going to be Gray, I believe, doing some work for him. Let's see if we do have any other X's in game here. Gray, we are seeing, there was one other there I did see just a moment ago. The Spocker is in there as well. Be watching out for him to be working for Mr. Kim Little. Now, anytime that you do see this Alienware type looking, now the Alienware original is an innovation usually rider, as you've seen Armand there with the white alien head there. Any of the riders that have the blacked out with green coming out of it, those are the Team Experimental kits. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get a solid look here. Gray, if we're looking at the side here, you can see Team Experimental across the side there. There's their in-game kit right there. And there are definitely teams in the world and the racing scene of Zwift. Not just the racing scene, though. A lot of teams do put on solid group rides. They have solid group leaders for those rides. I mean, of course, you've got Tim Searle running the AHDR team, as well as the AHDR ride, the Aussie Hump Day ride, Team Experimental out there, ODZ, Vision Cycling, the Vikings team, all these Vs that we are seeing in game right here. We are seeing Bernstein here coming out of Norway, riding for that Vikings team in game as well. They are using that Amgen Tour of California kit in game. So definitely able to identify and ride with the team in game. And they're usually always recruiting. So definitely take a look at the results. You see the CRCA kit there with the yellow and white stripes. So that is the Team TFC kit with Mac D here hammering away up toward the front in this A race. What's interesting to me is Mac D actually from that TFC team. How is he sitting in the standings? Always a consistent rider up toward the front end of these races. Has he been able to jump into any of these points though currently and grab any of these for the current standings here? Looking through the current standings, I'm not actually seen him. Maybe been outside of the top 20 for most of these races here. So looking through now though, I have not noticed the Man Templar just yet, actually. We are seeing a couple of Tacx as they move their way into the climb, and this is always one of the more contested places out on course as they climb through up toward the lap finish. It's kind of a two tiers. They enter into the volcano at two tiers, a second time up into the start finish line here. We'll go ahead and see how many laps they have left in just a moment here. It says 4 to go. 4 to go. It will swap on over to 3 as they come through here as we're looking at Goran Merkia here from France now. A Ripmeister there coming from the HIK as well. But it looks like the men are jumping into another dimension again for just a moment on us. So we're going to go ahead and see what is happening with the women. No attacks just yet for it looks like this group. They've worked really well together so far as Kona Bear sits on the back here. 162 beats per minute currently for her. We also do have, it looks like Fred 76 here out of France with Seacott. They're still out of France from Vision Cycling. Hasn't moved countries, obviously, in the last 10 minutes or so. AJ Abbott here coming from Team Fearless, one of the new women's teams out on Zwift, actually, that's been really surging in their current numbers, actually, as it was a hugely popular launch actually of that team. So really cool to see them showing up again in force here. We definitely have some solid info though from the live tracker over at zwiftpower.com. If you haven't visited zwiftpower.com yet, they actually had a great update as of recently. If you haven't done so, you should definitely go ahead and check out. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up for you to show you guys what zwiftpower.com is all about and why it's a great resource for the community. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up my desktop actually to give you guys an idea of what this resource actually provides to the community. If I can actually get it to change over to the correct desktop here, and it's not wanting to do so. It just wants to give me the streaming software. So, but swiftpower.com, you can head on over there. You can see the live updates. You can also watch the live broadcast actually with a drop-down menu of the live stream. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and drag this right on over, and it should, yep, there we go. We're gonna drag this right on over, put it on the other desktop, and we'll go ahead and bring this right in. So there's actually live tracker over at zwiftpower.com, gives you the position of all the riders. You can actually see where all the men are currently sitting out on course, what they've put on their watts per kilogram for their best 20 minutes so far, what their current heart rates are, what their current positions are, how much time that they've put into the course, what team they are riding for, and if they have their name in a have a link on their name. So Spocker here coming from Team Experimental, I love it that they put this color coding in here. You can actually see all of his past results, actually, as well as 20-minute, 5-minute, and 1-minute power there as well. Strava profile is linked, and you can see all the past results. So you can actually get an idea of what kind of power they can put out for a solid 1 minute. Their peak powers are all in there as well as their past results. Took a win here all the way back on May 1st, it looks like. Solid effort there coming from it. It looks like a W also in the EVR A race for the Spocker there, actually. So amongst the women, then you can see down below for the B category here, where they've been sitting, what their watts watts per kilogram have been, as well as what their max heart rates are. We're seeing a 198, a 192 here. Carrie Conabear, we were looking at her in that 160s or so. She's got a little bit to work with a solid 180 beats per minute for a max heart rate. Jay Abbott there as well. She maxes out at 192, sitting very comfortable, it looks like, there at that 192 beats per minute max heart rate, sitting at 156. Not too much of an effort there coming from Abbott just yet. Kicking there as well. She maxes out at a 203, sitting at 178, probably into a threshold right now for kicking as she makes her way around the course. Corner Bear there with that 180 or so. Let's go ahead and see where she's sitting at, and definitely looking for a W, I think, out here. Carrie, one of the stronger riders, I believe, out on course. If Rachel Elliott does not show up to a race and doesn't just fly off the front, there's an opportunity, and that's what these women are going to be thinking about right now. Who is going to take the win today amongst these women? Let's go ahead and look at some past results, actually, over at ZwiftPower.com and see what Carrie's been up to, actually, as well as a few of our other leaders amongst these riders. 93 races out on Zwift for Carrie. FTP of about 200 watts. She's currently sitting at about 154, a little bit underneath that threshold. She took a third in the XRS La Feminine race, actually, on the 14th. It looks like amongst those riders there on that race, it was Sue Patterson. It looks like Jirst Hole as well as then Carrie sitting in third place, actually, for that race in that XRS, actually, race back on the 14th, just about, looks like 6 days ago, actually. So some solid efforts there. A little bit of racing going on for Carrie this past month, and it looks like mainly a focus though on the Zwift Crit Series, actually, as we head into our fourth race of the series out there right now. Fred76 looks like riding for Team TFC. I did not know that she jumped into Team TFC. According to ZwiftPower.com, she is riding for Team TFC, actually. 68 races out on Zwift, 191 watt FTP. And it looks like did a WBR flat race actually 3 days ago. Took an 11th in that amongst the boys. But we are seeing, it looks like, a 9th, a 4th, and a 5th amongst the Crit Series here. We'll see if she can grab on to a solid result up at the front end of this race, as Fred76 is definitely going to be guaranteed at least 15 points and have a much better, I mean, last week it was a 9th place, actually. So this is going to be a little bit of a boost to her points currently if she's able to hold on to this placing right now. Looking forward here, we're seeing amongst the men right now, I'm looking for the front end of the men's race. It looks like they have figured themselves out again out on course. Let's go ahead and see what is taking place for the men as they make their way around for I believe they're going to have about 2.5 laps to go. 2.5 laps to go. Still, 34 riders still in amongst this group. Only the top 20 grab any points toward the final standings, actually. Adrian Timmis, actually, Tour de France rider, ex-Tour de France rider, I think back in the 80s, actually showing up and throwing down out here for some racing. He was actually a part of some live racing at the CVR World Cups as well, so it's good to see him jumping back into this. Haven't seen him over the summer. Looks like he got outside a little bit during the summer. It's good to see him back into the racing out here today. For the standings, though, I think Timmis is actually in a solid position. Let's go ahead and see where he is at. Yeah, he is actually sitting just outside the top 10, actually. Watch out for Adrian. He's got a good kick. He definitely can hang on for the duration of the race, but it's going to be whether or not he can make it all the way, excuse me, guys, make it all the way to the line for those final few kicks, actually. He's right on the edge of that top 10. Armin Benz and Arvels Vikströms there, they are in a precarious spot here, especially Armin there, only 3 points ahead of Steiner, Whiteley, as well as Pascal Evers. Timmis there with a solid result with a top 10 placing, could bunny hop over Armin and grab that 10th spot. That 10th place is definitely one to be watching, as I think there's a lot of riders there right on the edge of that 10th place. Never mind what the first place riders are. They're all within a few points of each other, but I think that 10th, 8th, and 9th places are also going to be just where somebody's going to just slide in to that punch ticket to the live event, actually, for this Crit Series here. Let's go ahead and check out the social media integration. And we are seeing, Nathan, is Roy Curves in the race? He races for Team Sunweb. Yes, I did see Roy out there. I'm going to go ahead and double check and see if Roy has made the group still. I did see him out there in the race early on. I'm not sure that he's still in and amongst the lead group right now. Looking through, I did see a couple of riders disappearing from course. There are a couple of network issues there, so we'll have to see if he's still in and amongst the group right now. I'm not seeing him in and amongst the leaders at the moment, though. I'm gonna have to go double check and see if there is any information here over at zwiftpower.com on where Roy is at right now. Our Curves, he's actually, I'm seeing Curves here. He is actually not had any past races out on Zwift that I can see. He does not have his name highlighted with a link, actually. So maybe first time jumping into a Zwift race, perhaps. Good to see him out there. Skipper is out there still as well, but I believe I saw 0-0 for his current output for his power. So I think he stopped racing at a certain point. He took a win in the EVR Asia, which is not an easy race to win, actually. WBR 3 laps as well. We're chatting currently about Joe Skipper, the pro triathlete, in 8th place in the WBR 3 laps at Hilly back on November 10th, actually. So good to see a couple of pros jumping out on course here. But now the battle is beginning into the volcano. I believe they're going to have 2 more times through this, but Soren Bay here up toward the front end of the race right now. We've got aero power-ups. We've got feather power-ups being thrown down like crazy, and all of the power-ups in game are fair game. Just so you guys know, every time, if you're unfamiliar with what these power-ups are, the aero power-up, the feather power-up, the drafting power-up, they're all a little bit of RNG that can go in your favor. You can use them in-game to gain a little bit of advantage over your competitors. And we do get some of the, I think, now, we do get a little bit of controversy about whether or not that should be or should not be used. I am of a strong opinion that it makes it more like in real life racing, actually. We've got 1 lap to go. We're on the bell lap here for the men's race. Hopefully everybody stays in the same dimension here. And we've got Goran Merkia here coming out of France. Our piece there, BPF Cycling. Phone is there as well. And it's still a solid group. And this is over 20 riders for sure in amongst this pack right here. Some are going to make the points. Some are going to be outside of the points here. It's going to come down to the final couple of climbs in and out of the volcano here for this men's race. And so on the power-ups thing, we're going to see a lot of power-ups being thrown down here. We're going to have some riders that have been holding on to aero power-ups all the way through the entirety of the race, looking to try and use it at the most opportune moment. And just like in real life, you can use these you can use the power-ups, or not the power, there's no power-ups in real life. You can use different, a little bit of randomness, a little bit of things that can be used in your favor that other riders might not have. And some of that might be like in real life, you might have a faster bike, just a simply a more aero bike. So just like in game, we do have these bikes like the Tron bike, the Cervelo S5, they do travel a little bit faster than the rest of the bikes. And you can go ahead and earn those in game in order to open those up. But then also in real life, you've got different types of pavement that you might find yourselves on at different points out on a course. If you are able to position yourself correctly to grab that pavement at the right place, you might also find that you have a tailwind at a certain point and you find yourself, or you position yourself correctly, you time it correctly to be at the right place to grab the most tailwind or headwind and then drive the gutter as well. So there are some random numbering games that we just don't perceive as well in real life, actually. And I think that from my racing experience, there is some random number games. There is some RNG that you can try and use to your favor in real life, racing amongst the Peloton on the mountain bike, there are always different things that are actually a mountain bike, and a lot of things that become fairly random out on the course that I could use to my favor in the moment and manipulate a little bit to gain an advantage over my opponents. And so I think the fact that we can see the numbers and exactly what people are putting out on wattage and their heart rates and all that stuff, that feels very controlled for us, right? We have this sense of control over what do you got? What do I got? Mano a mano, man versus man, woman versus woman. What do you got to push against me right now? Oh, you're putting out less than me. I should be winning. When in reality, there might actually be an advantage that you can gain in tactics, in technique, that I think the power-ups actually brings more of that in real life racing to the world of Zwift. Actually, I think, in my opinion, it's a great addition. I'm really glad that they're using it for the eCrit series. Kiss Racing. But if you don't like the power-ups, there's actually a lot of races that don't use them. A great example of that would be the SCR series, the TFC series. There's a lot of race organizers actually out there that are using using the event module in a way so that there are no power-ups allowed. And if you don't like them, you can go ahead and jump into those races and have a amazing what do you got versus what do I got kind of situation purely. Actually, let's go ahead and hear your opinion about power-ups out there. If you have an opinion on it, we'd love to hear it. This is the final attack here coming on through from Commissar. Actually, D Commissar here coming out of Norway. Whiteley now trying to follow this up. They are both within the top 10 rankings here. I'm just going to double check the men's rankings real quick, but it is Whiteley currently sitting in 12th place, actually looking for a little bit of a boost on his current position here within the top 20. Commissar is here as well. I do not believe that Commissar is within the top 20. He's looking for some points to try and get onto that leaderboard. Within the top 10, a few of them are just outside that 20-point mark, so it's definitely going to be a race here for punching a ticket here all the way to the finish line for a lot of these riders that still don't even have points for the series just yet. Now, as we're looking forward here, we do see up toward the front here, it is going to be Soren Bay here, currently sitting in 3rd place overall in the series. This is the last final kick here. Here comes Kim Little, 11 watts per kilogram, 174 beat sprint, sitting in 2nd place overall. It is Bakalev there now going right on by him, though, but it's going to be Dempster. Gavin Dempster killing it. Current 6th place overall. Going to be jumping up in those placings. 3rd goes to Bay. Then it will be Drujan. It's going to be Fawn. Bakalev. Little just outside of that in 5th place there with a solid 15-point grab there for Kim Little. What an effort there from all the riders. Solid result there for Kim Little there. And as he comes across the line, his heart rate's just skyrocketing. He's still, I believe, going to be sitting within the top few spots here out on Zwift. But I mean, look at this. Templar did not see him out on the course today. So Kim Little going to be, I think, overtaken there maybe by, no, Bay will not overtake him actually. Sternbach was there from Vision Cycling though within that top 5 as well. So that was a solid effort there from them all. The most consistent rider in the series so far, Kim Little for sure. But he may be able to take over that current series lead for Team Experimental. I think that may be happening at the end of the day. It's going to be close though, as we did have, it looked like Bay and a few others, Dempster as well with that win. Solid effort there from Dempster. Huge result for him. Going to be taking down 20 points and jumping up in the series right now, as he was sitting in, it looks like 6th place out on course. All right, in 6th place, excuse me, not out on course. He took the win today, but 6th place in the series out there. So now amongst the women though, as they're heading into their final here, we do have Jay Abbott here off the front, 174 beats per minute coming out of Poland, absolutely killing it right now, it looks like. And I believe is Abbott actually off the front winning this race. She is it looks like Jay Abbott here for Team Fearless going to be taking the W, I believe, as it's 4.9 watts per kilogram. Kicking is there as well, trying to chase that down. Kicking though on the Z Power. Somebody did point that out, actually, so she's going to have to get some verification around this effort there. And Abbott has powered off ahead in the ladies, followed by kicking. Thank you so much, Lana, Anthony. I appreciate the update there coming through, and we definitely want to make sure to bring in all of the action from all the racers here. Now, Kona Bear now sitting in third, not going to be taking down those points there amongst the taking down that top spot that was afforded there by Rachel, not showing up on the day here. So Abbott here, 173. Off the front, Team Fearless killing it right now. 9 seconds. She's going to really have to hold on at this point, though. As we're looking through over at zwiftpower.com, she does max out at a 192. This is absolute suffering right now. Well, actually, sitting more into maybe a threshold effort at this point, 174 or so. Now 5.2 watts per kilogram. Abbott now, it looks like we'll give her a ride on. Going to be taking the W out here today. Now with one last kick here coming from Fred76, Kona Bear, and it will be Seek out here as well from Vision Cycling. This is going to be the battle for third place out on course. The question for me, though, is Kickin able to grab points? Are they giving her the points here for the Z Power effort? She is in the leaderboard, so it does look like they are grabbing those points for her. There may be relegations taking place. I'm not positive, as she is definitely taking a second place out on course here today, and they may be giving her the points for the show, but giving her a little bit of a relegation to her at the end of the day. We'll have to wait and see how that's working out there with the Z Power here. But Abbott with one last kick to the line, 5.3 watts per kilogram on this climb, 179 beats per minute, and actually one lap to go for Abbott, as we do have Kona Bear here now. Is she going to kick and try and get away, maybe chase down Abbott and the others here to the line? We did have a little bit of a drop there of our feed there. Apologies about that, guys and gals, but it looks like here in first place here, Abbott off the front, a full minute already after that attack. Looks like she was just sitting in and waiting for this moment out on course, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we can find them in our main feed as they come around out on course here. We are in and amongst the men's race, still finishing up for a few of the men out on course. Let's go ahead and see how this actually played out for the final results for the top 10. We need to get that instant replay going, because it would be absolutely awesome to have that. We'll grab that as soon as possible, as we do have that feature for the races now. We'll go ahead and get that up hopefully by later tonight for the NA Crit series here. But for the men here, this is the results. We're looking at Gavin Dempster with that solid kick to the line. He put out a solid 4.3 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race here. 4.1 there. The least work done for a top 10 was going to Tobias Mueller. Solid effort there for him. And that's usually what you want to see, the least work done for the best effort there. But we are seeing a 4.3 there coming from Gavin Dempster. That's Kurt Racing at its finest there for sure. Soren Bay there, 4.6. Solid effort for him. Matthew Drujan riding for Vision Cycling there, sitting in third. Innovation with Peter Fohn. There's going to be some swap ups in its top 10 for sure. Frank Bakalov there from Trisport Way. Kim Little in sixth place here. Arliss, solid result for him. He was sitting down, I believe, in that 9th and 10th place, so he's going to be jumping up. Adrian Timmis was outside of the top 10. I think he's going to find himself in the top 10 here with a solid 12 points or so. Sean Gray then and Tobias Mueller, that's their top 10 rounding out. All these riders all the way down to 20th place with Peter Szerzynski out of Team Poland will be grabbing a few points. Peter Szerzynski will be in first place, not first place, we'll grab 1 point on the day, actually, for that 20th place position. Looking through here now, we do have the women making their way around for their final lap. Abbott here, looks like 5.0 watts per kilogram. She's just flowing off the front. She's got a solid 20 seconds over kicking here. And it looks like the woman coming out of the Netherlands here with that 4.2 watts per kilogram steady. The question is, will they let her have those points at the end of the day on the Z Power? She's produced over 3.9 watts per kilogram, I believe. I'll just double check that on the day here. And it is a 4.0 there coming from kicking. So good to see her out there putting out a solid effort. Huge effort here. 164 beats per minute right now, as we can see. 166, 172. The heart rate's bumping around a little bit there. 180 actually, I think, is where it's actually at. 183. So, you know, this is a huge effort, and it's definitely something to be celebrated out there. And but the rules are stating very clearly that anything over 3.99 with Z Power is going to be not eligible for a win. So I'm not sure how the race organizers are handling that. We'll have to wait and see what they are going to do with the Z Power situation out there. I have a feeling they are doing that relegation though. Seek out here with Kona Bear, and then it will be Fred 76. It's going to be a solid sprint. And every point does matter amongst these women. Let's go ahead and see where things are at for their standings with these specific riders here. Abbott is actually going to be bumping up into, if she takes this W, actually, this is going to springboard her a little bit, actually, into, I believe, a top 5 position, actually, as we're looking at this here. We are seeing Joanna Abbott, they're 38 points currently in Johnson. Jerlene Vanderbeek, 11 seconds back there from this chase group with Fred 76. Abbott is actually, with that 20 points, most likely going to be jumping into, it looks like, perhaps a top 5 situation here for the series overall here. Carrie there showing up on the day. She's going to be taking, it looks like, at least, I would say 15 points, at least 15 points on the day, and be bunny hopping over Rachel Elliott and taking over that series leader spot, unless Fred 76 can grab more than 6 points from her. But she'd have to drop her off right now, and Kona Bear would have to move backwards by a solid amount here. So I don't think that's going to be happening. So I think it's going to be Kona Bear and Fred 76 holding on to that first and second place out on the series. Looking through some of the comments here, and Trip Rolleton saying that Kick can always ride Z Power, but no penalty yet. Interesting, Trip Rolleton. We'll have to wait and see what is going on with that. Dixie Nosim, good to see you there. Lots of comments coming on through, and I'll try and get to them all as we can. And as we can see here, David Crucian, now part of Team ODZ, but have to do a kit unlock challenge. Boo, David Cruz, good to see you there. And a part of Team ODZ now, interesting swap on over. And it looks like a little bit of trading going on here in the, heading into the season here. And looking through here, why don't we disable power-ups for the final KM of the race motion? Now, that's actually an interesting comment there, to disable them just for a certain part of the race. That'd be interesting. But I definitely, you know, it is that's actually a good point, as it is definitely whether or not you are going to be able to win the race is most likely a little bit of RNG, actually, because the arrow power up is so incredibly powerful, Bressler. So that's a solid point and well taken. We'll have to see what's happening with this. Can we get a wild card to the E-Crit final? Tom Ove Kaland is asking. Zwift, I know you're out there and watching. Tom of Kalen's looking for that wild card. Let us know. Will there be a wild card? Can you get Zwift to create a fan kit for the channel? That is an absolutely awesome idea. We'll see if we can get that to happen. Lee Gosden, a ZCL fan kit. I'm loving it. Let's make it happen. Speaking of the channel, if you have not done so already, make sure to head on over to our Twitch. That is the main place that we like to congregate the community for live streaming. If you like to hang out on Facebook, you'll get push notifications once in a while from Facebook's algorithm. But you definitely want to head on over to twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. Throw us a follow over there for push notifications anytime that we go live. We got one last kick here coming from Kara Kona Bear here across the line. That's going to be for third place. Abbott was off the front forever. She took the W. Sidecut will be taking fourth there, it looks like, followed up by fifth place here, Fred 76. Solid efforts all around there. That was the final sprint there from Carrie. Carrie there sitting in for the longest time, just waiting for that moment, and takes that third place. She'll be jumping in with 17 points in the first place overall for the women in the crit series, actually. So solid result there from Carrie Kona Bear in the Tacx crit series, and is able to definitely grab a few points, as we are jumping around out on course now, as we are losing some of the racers here. So let's go ahead and see a couple more of the comments coming on through. This is a pretty cool one coming here from Christopher Octa, actually. When you do Mario Kart time trial mode, you always start with triple mushroom and you use how you please. Maybe for Zwift race, there's a type where you start with specific power up and that's all you get for the race. There's actually some conversation going on about that at ZHQ last time I was there. A little bit of conversation about different ways that power ups could be implemented. And I think that there are some thoughts around that. And I think, being able to grab a specific power-up each time through and be able to set your avatar to whatever power-up you want, and then that's the one you always get as you come through, and then you can use it as you want to, having a little bit more control over it. That's a really good idea, actually, Christopher Ackler. I really appreciate the comment coming through. And Tom of Kalen thinks, should not use in so important races. I like all the game features there, Tom, but everybody, there are other races out there that you can jump into for the use of power-ups. I do understand they are important races, but definitely need to try and go for the triple mushroom, as Octa is saying out there. And looking through here, let's go ahead and see what's happening with the races now. Tom, I totally get it, and I mean there definitely are going to be some frustration out there as well around that at certain times, but there are enough races I think that everybody will get a chance at a few arrow situations and how they could use them out on course for the best result. Gavin Dempster here did take the W here, followed by Soren Bay, Matthew Juja, and then Peter Fone and Frank Bakalov. That's your top five. Kim Little just outside of it. He will be jumping, I believe, into that first place overall, as he did have a solid lead, I believe, over Soren, though, but we'll have to wait for the official results to come on through from the race organizers. Coming on through down here, we do have Joanna Abbott from Team Fearless with a solid 4.2 watts per kilogram. Looks like a best ever result, actually, for her on that power there. Nice job for her. Nikki Kicking there coming through on Z-Power, though, 4.0 watts per kilogram. We'll see if they do any kind of relegation on that. Carrie Cohenberg for third. Marion Seacott there as well from Vision Cycling. Actually, no link up. She needs to jump on zwiftpower.com and link that up. I know she does race out there often, and with that result, she will be able to jump into the series, actually, and maybe be able to take that spot. Fred 76, followed up by Hannah Wood, and then it is Charlene Vanderbish, followed up by Anna Ludendorff, and rounding out, I believe, the top 8 or so. That's going to be it for our coverage here, boys and girls, of the Crit Series, Tacx Crit Series, presented by Twitch, and presented by Zwift, and Tacx presented by Twitch. Not presented by Twitch, boys and girls. Maybe we'll get there someday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and joining in with us. I am Nathan Guerra from Zwift Community Live. We'll be back for the NA Series presented by Cyclops. We're doing all 3 of the races here tonight in the East, Central, and West Series. So make sure to tune in for that. If you haven't done so again already, head on over to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live, for push notifications to your email, as well as your mobile app, your Twitch mobile app, for any time that we do go live here on Zwift Community Live. That is the best place as a community to follow along for all of the riding, racing action. We do other things besides racing here on Zwift Community Live. We do have Racer Focus, but then we also do have talk shows. Our weekly windup. We are launching also a community chat talk show where you guys can call in through Discord and interact directly with us. That is more interactive than just the social media interaction, right? We have the social media integration where you guys can put your comments. We want more of your voices in Zwift Community Live. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up some spaces in Discord that are a little bit managed, but we're definitely going to have a community chat where we can interact about all the different things that are happening out on Zwift and in the community. And you can chat about whatever it is that you think is awesomeness or maybe not so awesomeness within there and have a discussion about those things. Again, thanks a lot to Tacx for the support of the Crit Series, the Europe Crit Series, and we will see you in just a couple of hours for the NA Series with the start of the East. See you guys in just a few hours. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. As always, ride on.